Welcome to the masterclass. And today I'm going to be talking about turn self-sabotage into success with ease. This afternoon, I'm going to share with you 4 steps on how you will help you to let go of these old patterns of overworking, overthinking, perfectionism, just some of the top patterns, so that you can manage yourself, your energy, and your emotions more effectively and create more success with ease. That's my intention. It's important today to rise above these old patterns because there's so much noise, chaos, and change happening in the world that the world actually needs you to be leading in an empowered way. So, my invitation for you is to rise above the noise and use these 4 steps and apply them in your career, business, and life, and say goodbye to these old patterns. And I'm going to go through that in the 4 steps so you can start leading from your superpowers. What I'd like you to do now is to set an intention, what you would like to get from this masterclass, to write down a 1-word intention. It might be clarity, it might be focus, it might be balance, whatever the word that comes to you. Just tune in and take that 1 word and write it down. What I'd like you to do as well is to stay on mute for now while I go through the training, please. And then I'll open up the lines for Q&A afterwards. The training is going to take up to 20 minutes. And then take note of any questions as you go through this. And listen deeply, and I'm sure that you're going to hear exactly what you need today. The first thing we're going to do is to set the energy. So I'm going to invite you to take 3 deep breaths with me. And I'm inviting you to put your feet on the ground, flat on the ground, sitting straight up in your seat. Put your hand on your heart and to close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And I'm going to lead you through the 3 deep breaths. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and hold for 5. And release for 5. The second deep breath in, hold for 5, and release for 5. And the third deep breath in, hold for 5, and release for 5. And the reason I put hand on heart during that breathing exercise, you can come back to the room now and open your eyes, is that it helps to calm the nervous system. It helps you to become more present in the room here with us, so you can let go of anything that was happening before this call. And you can be more focused and get exactly what you need from the call today, this masterclass. I want to introduce myself if you're new to my work. I'm Fidel McGreen. I'm a business consultant and coach. I help female leaders and business owners who struggle with overwhelm, overworking, and who now want to lead from their strengths and create success with more ease and grace. And today you're going to get an insight what it's like of how members within my programs, the Project to Impact, how they actually use these 4 steps consistently that I'm going to share with you. And if you're already a member, my invitation to you is to listen out, to hear what you need to apply more deeply in your own program and in your own process. And later in this call, when I've gone through the training, I'm opening the chat to a link I'm going to share with you, which is the Business Clarity Call. And I'm going to invite you, if you want to go into this work in a deeper way, you can apply for a Business Clarity Call with me. That's a deep transformational process alone, and I'll tell you more about that near the end of the call. So let's begin with step 1. Step 1 is shifting out of old patterns and leading from your strengths. Women are being called today to really lead differently, to bring in more balance and to be able to access your true self so that you're guided by your intuition and your heart, and you get to create then the success with more ease. And you're going to have a better picture of that as you go through these 4 steps with me today. I've been running my business for over 20 years, and I just started out after coming from my successful career in technology for 18 years. I was full of passion, full of enthusiasm, and things were going well for about 10 years, and then I plateaued. And things started not to work as well because I was tending to push more, and I started to look for help in my business, and I started to work with 3 to 4 high-level mentors over a period of time. And I was learning a lot from them, but things were not really changing. And then I discovered I was highly sensitive. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with me or you if you are highly sensitive, but it means that you feel things at a deeper level. And that you're going to, if you have sabotaging behaviors, you're going to feel them more deeply. And that's what I discovered with my mentor, who I've been working with for over 6 years. And she's been able to help me to let go of self-sabotage. And it's a constant work in progress. But I'm a lot better than I was 6 years ago. So it is possible to shift out of these self-sabotaging behaviors. And when you're highly sensitive, your strengths are that you do feel deeply. You feel emotions more deeply than other people in a room. And you are going to see things, that solutions that probably other people don't even see. You're going to pay attention to detail that people may not even see. So these are all your strengths. And normally you're typically deeply spiritual as well. It comes naturally to you. So I had to learn, my transformation was learning how to be more in my strengths in my business, to let go of the people pleasing, to let go of overthinking things and trying to be perfect all the time, because I had all these tendencies. And I have to continuously work on it day to day. So if you struggle with focus, or if you struggle with starting and stopping, or if you're holding back in any way, there's nothing wrong with you. You can shift into leading from your strengths. I see members who are doing this in the Projects to Impact program, committing to their own progress, step by step, making the changes. So what's one way that you sabotage yourself? Think about it for a moment and just write it down. And no guilt, no shame, nothing. Just observe what is one way that you get in your own way. And keep note of that now as you go through the class, just to be aware of it. And to help you to rise above these old patterns, there are 3 pillars that I work with within the programs. And they are connection, consistency, and communication. I'm going to briefly give you an idea what they are. Connection is your ability to connect to your true self. And part of that is calming your nervous system, being able to show up for yourself, and learning to trust yourself and to stay with the process. And that leads into the consistency. There is no magic wand on this. There is a process. You have to show up for yourself and be committed to your career, to your business. And then you start seeing the results. And the communication is about being able to communicate with yourself and others in all relationships, in work, family, colleagues, in all areas. This has a ripple effect out when you start to really let go of old behaviors. Your communication that comes from your inner self, your true self, will be stronger and clearer because you won't be letting these old beliefs and old stories get in your way. But without these pillars, the self-sabotage has a way of keep getting in your way, keep holding you back. So you must be willing to be in process with them. When you learn to lead from your strengths, it's about then going from confusion to clarity. And this is step 2. Most people focus on what isn't working. They have a tendency, and that may cause confusion. So if things aren't working, if you're overwhelmed, if you're frustrated, if you're exhausted by the end of the day, if you're not getting the results that you want, then the confusion, oh, you might think, oh, maybe I should have done that. You're judging yourself or beating yourself up that you didn't do a good enough job or that you're not enough. These are old stories. So instead of that, instead of the exhaustion and the confusion, imagine at the end of the day, you were able to accept where you are and build on that, build on where you are to where you want to get to. So it's all about getting clear where you are and creating a plan. It's like if you're going to on a road trip, say to the Giant's Causeway. I don't know, have you been there? I've been there once. You need a map because it's right up at the top of Antrim. And if you don't get a map and a plan, you're going to waste time, you're going to waste energy. So the same applies to your business and your career. And I know if you resist planning or if you don't stick to plans, and that's okay, it's about adapting and learning to do it bit by bit, step by step, improving your way to it. And what I do is I help my clients to set their goals, get clear what they want, and then create a 30-day plan so that they can use that to guide their daily and their weekly actions. And it is a process. But to be willing to do that, to get the momentum on your clarity, you must be able to be willing to receive support so that you can learn and adapt as you go and stop maybe isolating and trying to do it all on your own. Because I tried that for years and that's where I plateaued. So it's about being sticking with the plan as well, even when it gets uncomfortable, because it will, because you're changing old patterns. And you may be approaching 55 or 60. I'm not saying everybody's that age here, but you could be doing and wondering what are your next steps? Like, what is your next chapter? What do you really want? This process helps you to get clear on that. Because when you listen to your heart and your intuition, you get to create a plan that's aligned with you. A plan is not going to fall from the sky and somebody's not going to hand it to you. You've got to be willing to create it and adapt as you go along. So let's move to step 3. When you start getting that clarity, start getting and knowing exactly what you want, then you move to accessing your superpower, your intuition. So rather than overthinking things, you start focusing on your plan, focusing on managing yourself and your energy so that you can access your intuition. And once you have that, you're in alignment because you then can guide your daily actions to make sure your actions and your energy are focused and aligned with your vision. So it all starts to come together. When you're out of alignment, this is where the self-sabotage comes in. You get triggered. Something takes you out. It might be somebody's voice. It might be somebody in a meeting. It might be a situation if you're working from home that just takes you out. It could be the laundry. It might be something as simple as just getting distracted when you're meant to be focusing. So as you move towards your goals, you may notice that your mind tries to distract you more because it's doing its job. Your brain is wired to protect you. So it feels you're going out into something new, into an unknown territory that you want to change these old habits. It's going to say, oh, no, you're not. I'm going to keep you doing what you were doing before. So that's where you may experience guilt that you're not able to stay with the plan, you're not able to do this, but it's all part of the process, becoming aware how your nervous system gets triggered and takes you out. I look at the nervous system as like a traffic light system. When you're calm, it's green. You're in alignment, you're focused and you're clear. Then possibility you may get triggered and it goes into, the light goes to orange, to amber, and you're distracted. Then you move to red, you stop, and you might just start hiding, or you may go into a coping mechanism that you've used before, procrastinating, hiding, or just delaying what you're meant to do. Or you may start pushing harder and making yourself till you're pulling your hair out nearly trying to do something, whereas you know that that's not the best way for you to operate. So one of the tools in the program, when your energy system, your nervous system gets activated, that I share with my clients is the belief change process. And that's a process where you get curious about what's underneath these behaviors. What's a limiting belief that may be causing this to happen? So if you think about, if you're pushing yourself constantly in your business and in your life, because if you have one pattern in your business, it's probably showing up in other areas in your life too. So just get curious now for a moment. What is one limiting belief that you have around your business, your career, and yourself? And just write that down. It may be that you're not good enough, that nothing you do is enough. And that's an old story, an old belief. And the good news is when you release these old beliefs and commit to going through a process with them, and the process that I teach is you commit to a number of days, for example, 21 days of working on a limiting belief. And then when you do that, you're calming your nervous system. You're using the tools to help you, to support you to become stronger and to overcome and rewire these old stories and old beliefs and old behaviors. The thing is, it takes courage then to access your intuition and to stick with it. Because not everybody's willing to do that, and that's okay. But my invitation to you is to be willing to engage with your intuition. And you've showed up here today because your intuition is your true power. Step 4 is not letting perfectionism hold you back. So let's go move on to that one. So if you tend to have perfectionism and it keeps you stuck, so maybe the level or the quality of the work that you do, you really are perfectionistic about it. And I'll put my hand up to that one as well. But it helps to keep you in your comfort zone. So as I said, if you're wanting to do something new, expand out of your comfort zone, it's going to try and flip you back into staying where you are, into your shadow behavior. And it does this in a nanosecond. It's not like you may be aware that this is happening, but when you start to go fuzzy, your thinking's not clear, you're feeling exhausted, and you're not feeling aligned and grounded, that's the indication that you've been flipped back into your fight or flight, that your nervous system has been activated. And within the projects to impact, what I do is I create a business success roadmap for you, with you. It's based on your personal situation, and it's a personalized plan that helps you around your mindset, your focus in your business and career, your energy management, and your accountability. But it's unique to you because you are unique, and where you are in this whole growth process is unique. And there is no right or wrong place to be. We all are where we are. But the integration process that all these 4 steps are helping you with is helping you to do both the inner and the outer work to help you to grow, to strengthen and expand your energy and stay with the process. So then you can start creating more success with ease. So I have a list of obstacles that tend to get in the way, and I'm going to bring that up now just to show you. I'm going to share my screen with you and hopefully you will see this. So let me put this over here. Can you see that now? So on the left, there are obstacles where you stop yourself. What I want you to do is to glance at these and just let your eye fall on one of them. Which one You may see yourself in several of them, but pick one that's most dominant for you now. And just take note of it in your journal. And take the opposite one as well, the growth mindset, where you're going to have to flip into. So, for example, if you take things personally a lot, you've got to start taking more personal responsibility. That's the flip. If you're operating from limiting beliefs, you've got to be willing to start shifting to new beliefs. If you're feeling stuck a lot, you've got to be more flexible and more agile and more just open to new ideas and new ways of doing things. So I'm just going to stop sharing that now. These are just common obstacles that get in the way. And it's then being able to work through the process to get to the opposite one. And these 4 steps, if you continuously work through these 4 steps, and it is about being conscious and connecting with your breath and really grounding yourself on a daily basis to be able to access and go through these steps and to start to see the results that you want in your business and life. So my invitation then is, if you allow yourself to stay in perfectionism and stay in these other patterns, it's going to keep you in your comfort zone. My invitation is to start stepping out of that, start stepping into the unknown, and to challenge yourself to start growing and to stay grounded, and then to see how you can start creating success with more ease. And this is what the Project Impacts program does for you. So sustainable success is not about pushing harder. It's not about hiding. It's about being willing to take aligned action, embodying your growth on a step-by-step basis, and to really be in process with this. So they are the key 4 steps to help you to create more success with ease. And what I want to move on to now is an invitation for you to be able to look at applying for one of the clarity calls with me if this is in alignment for you. And I'm going to put the link in the chat. And what happens in the clarity call is that you get clear on your own situation, where you may be getting in your own way. So, for example, if I had a client recently and she came to me and she was feeling some self-doubt. But when we went through the clarity call, she felt it was a really powerful process. She actually experienced a shift within the clarity call because she got so much clarity what was underneath the self-doubt. And then from the action steps that we discussed in that clarity call, she committed to taking support, receiving support, and she's now a member of the program. But it was her willingness to ask for help in the first place that got her the clarity. And now she's working on that self-doubt. And the changes she's made already within a short space of time is just amazing because of her willingness to really engage with the tools of this program. But there's no right or wrong way to apply these tools. You are where you are, and it takes whatever time it is. There's no judgment. And it is a process. As I said, it's a spiral of growth, and you go with your own speed at your own time, because we all have different circumstances in our life. So I'm inviting you to book a clarity call with me and to see and explore. It's non-obligation. It's just for you to get clarity on your next steps and to see how you can get out of your own way around self-sabotage. So what I'm going to do now is open up the lines. If anybody wants to, you can unmute yourself. If you want to ask me anything about the steps, about how to apply these tools to your career and business. And just to let you know that the recording is available for 48 hours. And when you apply for the application for the clarity call, there will be a bonus if anybody joins the program. Because you've showed up on this masterclass, you will get a bonus reduction of €500. Okay, and that's just a one-off bonus that I'm doing for this particular masterclass. So I'm opening up the call and I welcome any questions or comments from anybody here. Thank you. You can raise your hand or just unmute yourself. Okay, no questions. Some of the questions that normally come and that came up on a last talk that I did is that some people aren't, they're not clear how to get out of old habits. So maybe that's something for yourself. How do you stop yourself getting into these habits and breaking them? So it is a willingness to engage with the process, as I said, and a willingness to start working on the inner as well as the outer. And if anybody else has any other questions, if not,
Hi,
yes.
hi,
Hi,
Fidelma.
Michelle.
I have one
Yeah.
question. Thank you for that. That was very, very insightful. When it comes to, because I know people talk about intuition, it can kind of feel a bit like, like quite like spiritual, esoteric, and kind of a bit like
Mhm.
woo-woo. But how, like, are there kind of practical tips to connect more with your intuition? Like I know you're talking about the kind of like the intentional breathing and grounding every day, but are there other small things that you can incorporate that kind of helps you tap into that more?
The more when you're grounded and the more present you are to yourself, and it depends on where you are in your own development process and in your own growth process, your intuition, when you're in fear, my body knows that I'm in fear because I can feel it. I'm agitated. I'm not grounded. I'm not confident in my decisions. But when intuition is guiding me, there's an inner knowing, there's an inner quietness, there's a confidence. It's like something beyond yourself is guiding you. And some people actually get signs. It may be, it's intuitive, it may be visual, it may be audio, it may be kinesthetic, depending which sensory you have and that you use. When you start to see signs that are actually guiding you onto your next step, that's part of your intuition speaking to you. So normally when people come on my programs, they are spiritual, they already are open to this process. If it's totally foreign to them, well, then there may be some resistance to really trust in your intuition. And I went through that process myself. I had intuition in my life in all other sections, but when I came to my business and my career, I didn't apply the same level of intuition to it. And I had to learn to do that and to trust it. And it's brought me to where I am today. Does that answer your question, Michelle?
Yeah, no, that does. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions or burning, even from anybody on the program at the moment? If they want to make a comment or an observation, you're welcome.
I'll come in there then, Fidelma. Thanks.
Thanks, Katrina.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, I found that really, really helpful. It's a really high overview of what the program basically does. And as the person on the program at the moment, I'm finding it really, really helpful. And it's, as I say, simple steps, but it's a structure that's helped me try to, restructure my life. And as I say, the trusting oneself and having the tools to do that. So, as I say, I can't recommend it enough, but I'm really enjoying it. But I found today was very helpful from a high level point of view. The 4 key steps is kind of refocusing me again. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Katrina. Leah, is there any burning questions that you may have about anything that came up for you?
I have to sound like a total rookie and say I don't really understand what the program is. It's
Okay.
it's a mentorship program, or
It is. It's to help you to get focused in your
right.
business and career so
Yeah.
that
Oh,
you can, yeah.
so I understand that part, but just what's involved in actually doing the program, sorry, is what I should have
Okay.
said.
The Projects to Impact program, when you do the clarity call, you get an insight on how it actually works. I didn't go into the whole detail today.
Right.
I wanted just to focus on these 4 steps happen as you go through the actual projects to impact
Right.
program.
Okay. I'm with you now.
So you're working on these 4 steps constantly.
So
as
it's
part of
it's
the
like a
program.
coaching program.
It is. And training, because you're retraining your nervous system.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And how long does it normally last, or what? Like,
There
is
are
there
a few.
long as
There
a piece
are a
of string?
few options,
Okay.
and we go through that in the clarity call. Depending where you're at and what you want to achieve, you may
Right.
select one of 3
Great.
different entry points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So if that's all the questions, I'm really thankful for you all showing up here today and for your time. And you've already started the process by showing up here today and increasing your awareness about what's possible. So you can shift these old behaviors. You can take personal responsibility and start changing your results. And I'd love to help you on the way. So thank you for joining, and I will see you all soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
Gemma.
Take
Bye now.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Night.
Bye-bye.